The email arrives at 4:12 on a Tuesday afternoon. Subject line: Your monthly parking has renewed. $215. Charged automatically. Level 3, spot 118. The garage on Ferris Street. You read it twice. Then you open the card statement, and the charge is there. It is also there the month before that, and the month before that one. 14 months. $3,010 for a rectangle of painted concrete under a building you have not walked into since the spring before last. You cancel it in about 90 seconds. What stays with you is not the money. It's that nothing in your life got quieter when you stopped going, and nothing got louder when the money stopped mattering. And so, a recurring charge for a life you no longer live sat in the middle of your statement for over a year, with its hand down, unnoticed, patient, billing you for a door you no longer needed to open. Nobody has said anything. Not your mother, not the man who sat 4 feet from you for 2 decades, not one person at any table you have sat at since. You left the thing every single person you know says out loud that they want to leave, and the world's complete and total response has been a parking receipt. You are 24. You are an operations coordinator at a freight brokerage, which means you spend the day moving other people's cargo around a map and defending the times you promised. $41,000. The commute is 71 minutes each way on a good day, and there are not many good days. The garage on Ferris Street is $185 a month, and you don't have $185 a month, so you park 11 blocks out on a residential street where the signs let you stay until 6, and you walk. In February, you walk in the dark on both ends. In August, your shirt is wet through by the time you badge in. It costs you 34 minutes a day, and you make that trade without ever calling it a trade. Because at 24, $185 is real money, and 34 minutes is nothing. That fall, HR sends a form about the 401k. You fill it out because you are the kind of person who returns forms. 6%, which is what the match tops out at. $300 a month, gone before it reaches the account you look at. You pick the fund with the shortest description, the one that owns a sliver of every public company in the country, expense ratio 0.03%, because the other funds have longer names, and the longer names are not explained anywhere on the page. That's it. That's the whole decision. 4 minutes, 1 form, a Tuesday. You are 27. The market has a bad year, down 5%, and your balance sits at $25,333 against $24,000 you have actually put in. 3 years of discipline has earned you $1,300, which is roughly what Dwayne spends on a weekend. Dwayne started the same month you did, same title, same floor. He is better at the job than you are, faster on the phone, better with the drivers, genuinely liked. That spring, he buys a condo 8 minutes from the office with 3.5% down. And he is right that it beats renting. And he is right that the commute will kill you before it kills him. And he is right about almost everything, except the part nobody says at closing, that his monthly cost is now fixed for 30 years at a number set by the version of him who was 27. And every raise after this will have to arrive on top of it. You keep parking 11 blocks out. When the raise comes, you move the 401k from 6% to 9%, and your checking account looks exactly the same as it did the month before. That becomes the pattern, and the pattern is so boring that no one, including you, ever describes it as a strategy. You are 31. The balance is $116,478. You make $76,000, and you save $21,000 of it. And this is the year you finally buy the parking pass, level 3, spot 118, because 34 minutes a day has stopped being nothing, and $185 has stopped being real money. It is the only visible thing that changes about you in a decade. You still drive the same car. You still bring the same lunch in the same container and heat it in the same microwave at 1240. Twice a year, somebody says you're low maintenance and means it as a small compliment about your personality rather than a large fact about your finances. Nothing you own announces anything. That turns out to matter later in a way you could not have engineered on purpose. You are 36. The market falls 34%. Your balance goes from $297,166 to $223,104 in about 9 weeks. You have contributed $233,500 over 12 years. For the first time since you were 24, the account holds less money than you have put into it. And you are, arithmetically, a man who has been feeding a hole since the first Obama term. You keep the contribution running, not out of conviction. You just never open the app during those months, and the money leaves on the first regardless of whether anyone is watching, buying more shares of the same unremarkable fund at prices that will not exist again in your lifetime. Dwayne moves his balance into the stable value fund in the third week and tells you kindly that he'll get back in when things settle. Things settle roughly 11 months later, about 40% higher, and by then he has a reason to keep waiting. And the reason is a good one, and it is more expensive than the crash was. He is not foolish. He did the thing that every nervous system on Earth does, which is confuse moving with protecting at the exact moment those two are opposites. You are 40. The balance is $594,245. It grew $83,546 that year without your involvement. Your salary is $104,000. Of that, $24,500 leaves for the 401k before you see it. About $8,000 goes to payroll tax, about $8,600 to federal, another $3,500 to the state. What actually lands in your checking account across 12 months is a little over $59,000. The account beat that by $24,000. It attended no meetings. It sat in no traffic. It answered nothing at 11 p.m. and apologized to no one on a Friday. And it out-earned every hour you spent away from your own life that year by the price of a decent car. You do not tell anyone. There is no version of that sentence that does not sound like a man bragging about weather. You are 43. The balance is $857,790. And this is the year you start doing a different kind of arithmetic, backwards. You add up what you actually spend, not what you could spend, what leaves every month for 12 months, including the dentist and the tires and the wedding you flew to. $38,000. That is the entire cost of being you for a year. Multiply by 25, which is the crude old shorthand for a pile that can pay you 4% of itself forever, and the number is $950,000. You are $90,000 away from the rest of your life, and there is nobody you can say that to. That spring, Priya, who runs the claims desk, quits loudly. She posts about it. She has a countdown, a last day photograph, a caption about choosing herself. Everyone is thrilled for her in a way that has some hunger in it. 19 months later, she is back in the industry at a lateral title and slightly less money. And she is fine, and it is not a tragedy, and nobody brings it up. You watch that whole arc from 4 feet away and understand something you never say out loud. That she needed the announcement because the announcement was the only part that was ready. The math wasn't. Yours is almost ready and has never been mentioned to a living person. And those two facts are the same fact. You are 45. The balance is $1,091,237. Of that, $569,000 is money you put in. $300 a month at 24, several thousand a month now, 252 transfers on the first of the month that you stopped feeling somewhere around year 3. The other $522,237 arrived on its own. You didn't pick anything. You didn't time anything. You bought the most boring fund available and then failed for 21 consecutive years to do anything clever. $38,000 out of $1,091,237 is a withdrawal rate of 3.5%. The old shorthand would have let you take $43,649. You are not taking it. The gap between what you could spend and what you do spend is the actual thing you built. And it was built by a man walking 11 blocks in the rain. The resignation takes 9 minutes. Your manager asks where you're going, and you say you're stepping back for a while, which is technically English. She assumes another brokerage, then assumes a non-compete, then stops assuming and asks if everything's okay at home. You add up the commute on the drive out, one time and then never again. 71 minutes each way, 232 days a year, 21 years. 11,530 hours, 721 waking days, just under 2 years of being conscious spent in a car, going to a building to move other people's cargo around a map. You are 46, and everyone around you quietly settles on a version of you that isn't true. Your income that year is $38,000, assembled by hand. You move $30,000 out of the old 401k into a Roth, so it will be reachable later, and you sell enough of the taxable account to realize about $8,000 in long-term gains. Your federal income tax on all of it is $1,420. The $8,000 of gains is taxed at 0%. Because there is a rule that has been sitting in the code the whole time saying that long-term gains stack on top of your ordinary income and pay nothing until the total clears $49,450. And you are nowhere near it. 6 years ago, you paid over $16,000 in federal and payroll tax in a single year. Now you pay $1,400, legally, on a form a person could finish in an evening. Health insurance is the part that runs your life now. A benchmark silver plan costs you about $256 a month, because at $38,000, you sit at roughly 243% of the federal poverty line, and the subsidy slides with that number. Above 400%, $62,600 for one person, it stops. Not phases out, stops. $1 over that line and the credit is zero. So you have $24,600 of headroom, and for the rest of your life, every decision about how much money to move in a given year will be checked against a fence that most people have never heard of. That's what nobody tells you about the far side. You didn't stop managing money. You stopped being managed by a calendar and started being managed by a tax table. And the tax table does not call you at 11 p.m. Dwayne figures it out wrong. He hears you left, does the only arithmetic available to him, and lands on quiet layoff. He calls in October, careful, warm, and says he knows some people at 2 other shops and would be glad to make calls. You say thank you. You say you're taking some time. He says, gently, that there's no shame in it, and something in your chest goes sideways, because he is being a genuinely good man about a catastrophe that is not happening. Your mother sends $100 at Christmas with a note that says, for gas. She is 71. You keep the note. You cannot correct any of it. To correct it, you would have to say a number out loud. And the moment you say the number, the thing you have becomes a thing you are claiming. And every conversation for the rest of your life becomes about the claim. So you let your mother worry. You let Dwayne make his calls. You let the whole architecture of the story stand, because the alternative is worse, and because the silence was never a strategy. It's just what's left when you take the announcement away. Somewhere in your 46th year, the growth in that account passes the total of everything you ever deposited. There is no email. Nobody sends a certificate. It simply becomes true that more than half of what you own is money nobody worked for. It is 10:40 on a Wednesday morning, and you are at the public library because the light is good and it's free. The room is retirees, a woman doing something with grant paperwork, and a story hour bleeding through the wall in a language you don't speak. You are the only person here who is 46, and nobody wonders about you, Because nobody in a library at 10:40 on a Wednesday wonders about anybody. This is what it bought. Not a boat, not a beach. A weekday morning at normal volume, with nothing scheduled and nobody owed. It is so much smaller than the fantasy, and so much larger than the life. And the reason nobody noticed is that from the outside, it looks exactly like nothing. Nobody escapes the rat race in a way you can photograph. The race is loud on the way in. The badge, the parking, the 71 minutes, the title that gets a little longer every 4 years. The exit is a man canceling a parking subscription in his kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon, 14 months late, mildly annoyed at himself. Right now, it's raining on Ferris Street, and somebody 24 years old is parked 11 blocks out because the garage is $215 a month, and $215 is real money. They're walking in. They have a form from HR in a bag, 6% or nothing, 4 minutes on a laptop some evening this week or never. There will be no day. There will be no announcement, no last day photograph, no table of people being thrilled in a way that has hunger in it. There will only be a charge that keeps renewing for a door you stopped needing, and a morning, decades out, when somebody finally reads the statement twice and realizes they have been gone for over a year, and the world never sent word.